Beautiful people, welcome in for another episode of the Homie Love Hour with me, your host, Joe Buck. Now, today's guest is pretty much a mainstay on the show at this point. He was on the last episode. He's been on a few other ones. We just were finished recording a new episode for his podcast. So help me welcome him back, the one, the only, James Auvil.
Hey!
I need to get that button so I could just be like, bah, 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 bah. Same old, getting ready to, get ready to fly to Tennessee for a wedding.
Do you like flying?
No,
Really?
no.
Why not?
It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of being around other people. And those are two things I don't enjoy in my life.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of a means to an end. I could take a week off, drive there and drive back, but I really don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 3-hour flight or, 2 days driving. Yeah.
Yeah, give me the flight.
Yeah, it's pretty
But,
much
like,
how I feel about it.
So like the airport is okay. So I went to Texas at the beginning of this year, and I flew there because I damn sure ain't driving to Texas. But I got to the airport and I was just like, because I really have not been in an airport since before 2012. So this is my first time being in an airport in that many years, and I was just like, this is kind of interesting. But my favorite, I love people watching in crowds because you just see people do some of the dumbest things on the planet. And it's hilarious to me. So that's probably why I liked it. But if I do it again, I'm probably like, this is going to suck.
Yeah, I get it. It's like going through TSA always sucks because there's always one person who's never prepared and hose up the line. There's always some negligent parent who's not paying attention to their kids. Then there's one like neurotic parent who's like chasing the kid around. There's always one person who wants to talk to you in line. And I'm just like, man, I don't want to talk here. Like, just look that way.
Yeah.
Once we get through, still don't talk to me. But like,
At least you saw me.
yeah. Like my whole thing is like traveling to me is a means to an end. So I'm not here to make friends. Like I'm not gonna be mean to people, but at the same time, like I'm just like, man, I'm already annoyed. Like I don't want to keep having pointless conversations with people that I'm never gonna see again.
Mm-hmm.
So, on occasion I'll do it, but for the most part, I got my headphones in. I travel very light. Like, I've talked about it on here. I only fly first class. So I check my bag.
Damn, dude.
Hey, man, I don't fly very often, but a big part of it is I refuse to inconvenience other people.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so, if I'm going to travel, I need to be comfortable.
That is true.
So yeah, I'm just like, let me be comfortable. Let me spend this little bit of extra money. I get extra leg space. I get a bigger seat. All I can drink, and I get a meal. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I need to experience first class once in my life.
You should. I recommend it. Like there are certain people who fly with the idea of like, hey, I'm just going from A to B.
Mm-hmm.
Then hey, that's all you. But again, I don't know what it's like to sit next to me, but I will not do that to someone in coach, let alone 2 other people. And I'm also not going to fight someone for like access to the armrest.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Coach does suck because they're speaking of like parents and not keeping control of their kids. This one chick on the flight home, there was one woman on the flight home. Like it was this girl, a kid, and a mom. And I don't know what this mom and kid did in that row, but like the chick left and the mom and kid left, and it was just destruction, like cooked crumbs everywhere, wrappers everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, if this is what happens here, imagine what her house looks like.
Yeah. And see, like, I've only ever seen children in first class one time.
Yeah.
And these were like, I had to make sure they were real children. Like, I was like, I don't know if these are little people, but they were the most well-behaved children I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, they both had on like matching sweater vests and stuff. Like, they looked like the mannequins in like, what's the name of that store? Like Pier 1 or Old Navy.
Okay.
Yeah. Think of like the mannequins in Old Navy if they came to life and hopped on a plane. And yeah, so they had a little boy, a little girl, and then they had a baby, and then the mom and the dad. And they had a row in first class of themselves. So clearly they weren't hurting. And when the baby started crying, the flight attendants was like, hey, you got to take that baby in the coach. And I was like, And I'm like, that sucks for the people in coach because I'm like, that's super disrespectful to be like, hey, you gotta take this crying baby in the back with the poor people. And she was like, when the baby stops crying, you're more than welcome to come back up here, but like we don't let babies cry in first class, which I thought was like again pretty wild.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's outside of that, you don't really see it. There was one time where they overbooked first class and like as like an apology, they were like, "Hey, we're going to let you board first. We're going to give you an entire row to yourself,
Oh, that's
but
nice.
you're also still going to get all the amenities of first class."
Okay.
So I was like, "Okay, sure. Yeah, no problem." And it was like a super early flight. I forgot. I think I was going back. Yeah, I was going back to Alaska. So got on the plane and I remember I went towards the back, like not all the way in the back where the bathroom was, but like 4 rows ahead of that. So
Mhm.
I sat down, had the whole row to myself. And then this family came on and they had like 4 kids and they sat adjacent to me. And I was just like, I feel like I'm not going to sleep. I feel like I'm not going to be able to relax. The second the plane hit the tarmac, those kids were out. They were asleep,
Oh,
didn't
good.
budge. Dude, I was like, I don't know if these people gave these kids Benadryl or whiskey or what, but I'm amazed.
Mhm.
And, you know, again, like it's one of those things where it's kind of an ignorant thought on my part to be like, oh, there's 4 kids, they're clearly going to be awful. But those kids ruled.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's like it's always flying is tough. It's very stressful, but usually I would just drive. But again, you know, I got like a dog and responsibilities, so I can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna be gone for a week.
Mhm.
Yeah, because like before I bought my house and before I got my dog, pretty much the end of ski season and the end of summer, I would do like a big road trip. So one of the times I drove across Canada, or sorry, across Alaska, across Canada, across the Midwest to Vegas. Then after that, I would do the drive from Colorado to Florida and back.
Mhm.
And that was a good time.
That's a drive, though. Jesus, that's a drive.
Yeah, so, like, just me one way from when I was living in Vail, like, doing, you know, let's say 10, 12 hours a day, it's still like 3.5, 4 days, kinda depending on traffic and how much I stop to do other things.
Mhm.
Then, yeah, so you're talking, let's say 4 days each
Mhm.
way. That's 8 days right there, not including time with the family and gas and all that type of stuff. So, you know, you're talking 2 weeks, and that still
Mhm.
might not even be enough time to, like, spend time with people, do other things, stop along the way, see people, all that kind of stuff. You can make it into a month if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I'm excited for Tennessee to see, you know, my boy get married and, you know, maybe hit an open mic or go to a distillery while I'm there.
There you
And
go.
then,
What
yeah,
part of Tennessee?
I'm flying into Knoxville
Okay.
and I gotta look where the wedding is. It's like one of the Oaks, Oak Lawn, Oakdale,
Mhm.
Oaktown. I don't know. Actually, I think Oaktown might be from Pokemon. My bad. Um,
Still a good town.
Yeah, sure, why not, you know? But, so yeah, I'm taking pretty much most of next week off of work, and I just got back from vacation. Shout out the homie Rose, came out and spent a week putting up with all of my talking. It was a week of eating, hiking, and hanging out.
Mhm. Man, that does
Dude,
sound like a good time.
dude, it was a lot of exploring. I got to do a lot of things that I've always wanted to do, but just never did.
Mhm.
So we went up to Estes Park, went into Rocky Mountain National Park, hiked around there. I ate shit pretty hard coming down this hill that was covered in snow. We ate good there. Did a really beautiful scenic drive back up here. We rode the Georgetown train. We went up to Leadville. Gosh, we hiked around here where I live. We went over to Breck. Yeah, we went around Lyons, Colorado. We were kind of everywhere
Mhm.
and it was super cool. Like I've never had anybody stay with me for that long that hasn't been family, and even then, by like day 2, I'm like, all right, dog, like you go do what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do literally anything else.
Mhm.
So it was a learning experience, but it was still really cool. Like I thought we got along really well. There wasn't ever a point where I was just like, God, I'm tired of looking at you. Like go away.
Mhm.
It was really fun. It was a challenge, but it was a good challenge. Again, I got to check a lot of stuff off the list. This was her first time in Colorado, so, you know, I tried to think of everything that we could do to kind of like make the most of the trip.
Mhm. Oh, nice,
Yeah.
dude. Nice.
Yeah. So pretty pumped.
Did you have a good
Maybe,
time?
I mean, I think so. She didn't say that she didn't. Oh, and then we went to the butterfly pavilion. It was super cool.
Yeah, the butterfly
Yeah.
pavilion.
Yeah. I had a blast there. It was super cool. There was a bald eagle outside, just like chilling.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it was just chilling outside on a tree branch, like not a part of the pavilion at all. It was just outside.
Yeah.
Um, so that was super cool. And then I took her to my favorite Korean grocery store. They had
Okay.
a
Okay.
Korean bakery inside.
Yeah.
So we went crazy on the Korean baked goods. And then we just like walked around and they had the cheapest sushi I've ever seen and the Korean equivalent of sushi. They had everything. I love that store.
Yeah. In Korean, huh?
Hmm. Yeah, it's called H Mart.
H Mart.
Yeah. So
Yes.
it was super cool, man. So I've been very fortunate this October, you know, getting take time off of work, actually being able to take time off of work.
Mhm.
Cause like this is the second job I've ever had that offers PTO.
Mhm.
So like having PTO and being able to use it is like a fantastic feeling and
Mhm.
like not feeling guilty, like
Isn't it though?
yeah, because like working in restaurants, they're like, yeah, you could not come to work, but then they try to guilt you and be like, but you're hurting these other people. Or, if you don't have PTO at the restaurant, it's like, well, now I'm not getting paid for these days I'm not here.
Yeah.
So it's like, that stress being removed was fantastic. And then, actually planning and making an itinerary of things to do was also really great.
Mhm.
And then like, having someone cool to hang out with, you know.
It's
So
always good to have good company because if you hang out with somebody that's just like, well, I don't know what I want to do. It's like get get gone.
yeah, I mean, I was playing tour guide, so I talk a lot about rocks and trains and history.
Are rocks
And
and trains some of your favorite things?
dude, yeah, fucking
Really? I
dude,
didn't
yeah,
know that.
yeah, I love rocks, trains, and history. That's my shit.
All right.
Yeah,
All
rocks,
right.
trains, history, a really good horror story podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my shit. I also love hats, obviously.
I feel you. Hats
Yeah,
are good.
a shout out
Hats are good.
Maddie. She gave me this hat yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going Tuesday to cut off some of my hair because it's getting kind of out of control right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, like this hat is like fighting for its life right now to stay on. Yeah, yeah, it's like is that Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 where he's trying to stop the train? Yeah, that's how this hat is trying to keep all my hair underneath of it.
So getting back to that train, where did that train go from and to?
So it's the Georgetown Loop. So it's
Okay.
down in Georgetown. So you start off in this valley and it does like a series of switchbacks and spirals. Then
Mhm.
you end up on the Devil's Gate Bridge, and it takes you up to Silver Plume. You get off on Silver Plume, and they have a museum there. And then you get like 15, 20 minutes to kind of hang out there. And then on the way down, the train goes down the mountain backwards.
Okay. Backwards.
Hmm.
All right. All right.
Yeah. So it's really cool because like on the way up, it's just music playing.
Mhm.
And the way down, there's like a person on the train who gives the history of the area.
Mhm.
So you get to learn about it and it kind of explains like some of the things that you see, some of the um like some of the points, some of the views, the bridge itself, all that kind of stuff. And some of
Mhm.
the history of the area.
Well, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
Colorado and how beautiful it is. A train
Hmm.
ride just is like that'd be like eating oysters, like an aphrodisiac or something.
Dude, it was pretty great. And then, it helped even more so that we still had some of the aspens on the trees. So it wasn't just looking at a bunch of bare trees. So
Mhm.
like there's small aspen groves that you go through on the way up and down. And then
I wonder if you ever seen like some wildlife run past, like, oh my god, there
yeah,
was a bear, like Bigfoot.
yeah. So when I did the Leadville train, that one it's a singular track. So it just goes up the mountain in reverse and then stop, get out at the top, and then it goes back down.
Mhm.
Um, my friend at the time worked for the train. So we got to talk to the conductor, super cool guy. But first off, this is the most giddy I've ever been as an adult. He let me start the train and he
Ooh,
also let me put it in drive.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and, like, I felt like a kid. Yeah, I felt like a kid because he's like, "Come here, young man," and I was like, "Dog, I'm a grown man. Don't call me young man." But he's like, He's like, turn this lever, push this knob, hit this button, and it has one of those like old school handles where he's like, squeeze this and push it forward. So I do all the things, and he was like, congratulations, you just moved your first train. And I was like, yeah.
Like, dude, fuck, yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
he was like, I don't offer this to people, but if you guys want, he's like, go through this door and you'll be on the front of the train. And he's like, you can sit out there the whole way down the mountain.
Did you?
Yeah, did we, brother? We went
Dude.
crazy out there. Yeah, I have to see if I can find them anywhere, but I had videos. Like we were sitting on the front of the train. He was like, "Hey, as long as you don't fall off or like anything like that, you're good." So we got to see all the wildlife like running across the train tracks and like chilling as the train was coming down the mountain.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It was super cool. Like I was definitely like super appreciative I got to have that and like become like a core memory for me.
Oh, that's good, dude.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
What about you? You done anything fun this October? Any exploring or anything like that?
What have I done this October exploring wise? I'm not that big of an adventurer, to be perfectly honest with you. Like I take my walks every Friday, and I mean I kind of keep to myself. But like if I wanted, honestly, I'm having a big hankering to go
Mhm.
check out the museum here again, like the Natural History Museum, because it's
Okay.
like it's pretty interesting on what they do and how they set it up. And they have like an IMAX theater there that'll it's like a small version of the Vegas Globe,
Mhm.
that sphere that they have. But like I don't know, I'm not a big adventurer like that. Like taking hikes and whatnot. Like they have very cool places to go here, but it's just like and there's Twin Peaks right down the road. That's enough adventure for me.
I think I was helping my sister plan a trip, but I
Yeah.
think next year around this time, I'm gonna go to Vermont.
Vermont sounds cool. Is that where she lives, Vermont?
No, hell no. She lives in Miami,
Okay.
but she was telling me she wants to go, so I was like, all right, I'll put together like an itinerary, look stuff up for you to do. So I put together like a whole list of things. But I don't even know if she ended up going. Actually, no, she ended up going to Italy or something.
See that okay, okay. Let me add on to not being an adventurer.
Okay.
I don't want to do it locally. I want to do it globally. So if I'm
Mm,
going to go on an adventure, it's going to be like to Egypt, or it's going to be to France, or it's going to be like Germany or Amsterdam. Like I live here. I can do that whatever I want, like, but to take that special trip to go somewhere
mm,
is what kind of like I'm saving to go to Egypt within the next 2 years.
that'd be sick.
So I want to go see the pyramids.
Mm,
I want to go to Bourbon Street, and I want to go see LA for the Comedy Store. So
okay.
that's the three big adventures I got going on for the next couple years.
So Egypt, LA, New Orleans.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That's I've been fascinated by the pyramids. So I want to go check it out and maybe find my Egyptian love. Ladies,
Yeah. For
Egyptian women are gorgeous
anyone who is interested, James is in fact single.
and
Get at
somewhat
him.
ready to mingle
Yeah, he's ready to dip his toes. You know,
lightly.
you might have to drag him into the deep end, but with the right amount of coercion,
I
I
got
think
my
you could.
floaties. I got
Yeah,
my own
there
floaties.
you
So
go.
we're good to go.
He could doggy paddle. You know, but
But that's
yeah,
but adventuring, that's what adventure seems like to me, the big ones.
you
So
know, that's kind of how I felt like growing up in Florida, because Florida's so big and diverse.
yeah,
Where like driving around, I didn't really appreciate it
yeah,
until like I was leaving the state,
yeah.
and like even now, sometimes like when I go back to visit, like getting to see different parts of the state and seeing like how the ecosystem is different and the weather is different, the climate is different, like everything is different. It's really, really cool. But it's also given me like a deeper appreciation for where I get to call home.
Mhm,
Cause like, doing those big road trips, I've driven across the South. I've driven across the Midwest. I went to Vegas once. It wasn't really my speed, but to each their own.
mhm,
But I still want to do like Northern California, more of Washington, Oregon, those areas. And also, I really want to go to the Northeast. I think it'd be really, really cool.
mhm,
And, I've always had like a fascination with those areas. So I think like checking those off would be also like a lot of fun as well.
mhm.
But,
It'd be very beautiful. I hear it's beautiful out there, like upstate New York, Vermont, Rhode Island. I don't know about Connecticut. Connecticut seems like one of those like, all right, we'll go to Connecticut.
I don't know. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's always potential,
Do you
like
want
in
to
a
go?
place.
Do you want to go like New York City? Like seeing what the city's all about?
Do I personally? No, not really.
Okay.
If I were to go to a city, it would be for like the museums.
Yeah.
Museums and architecture would be like the two things.
Mm-hmm.
But like the food would be a huge plus, obviously. But like the culture of a lot of big cities is like, I need to get to where I need to get. You're in my way.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, that part I didn't really enjoy. Like I grew up in Miami, population of like 2 million people.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of grew up in an area like that. So I think I wouldn't mind visiting for maybe like, a few days, maybe like a long weekend. But outside of that, nah.
I understand that. Like New York City, I'd want to see the 9/11 memorial
Hmm.
and check a comedy show out. But funny enough, when Hooters was open right down the street, some guy was here on contracting work and he was from New York. And I was just sitting there bullshitting with him and he was just like, you need to check these out, this out, this out. So if we ever go to New York sometime, I got an itinerary for us.
Hey, perfect. I almost moved to New York, actually.
Really? For what?
I was gonna go to air traffic controller school there.
That would be cool. Sit up in the tower?
Yeah, I mean, that's where like one of the big schools is.
Yeah.
And my sister at the time was living there. So I was gonna move to New York, go to air traffic control school there and live with her.
Hmm.
But then I decided I didn't want to become air traffic controller because it's like one of the most suicide prone jobs in the world.
Like above dentist?
Actually, no. So I believe when I looked at it, dentist was number one.
Well, let's see if it's changed. I mean,
Yeah, it's just like, shit. Like, did I make the list?
well, hey, some point in my life, I probably made that list.
Dude, it's wild, and I was just like, they've since made changes to the air traffic controller tower to make it better for people's mental health. Because before it was just a dark room and you stare at a screen all day. But they've since made changes. I don't know what those changes are off the top of my head because it's not my profession.
Yeah.
But I have heard that they have made those changes in the right direction.
I'm just, what would be, yeah, it's probably a topic for off camera talk.
What's that?
What would be the biggest reason that would be on the list? Dark room?
Dark room and it's high stress position.
Okay, the high stress. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
you literally
Yep.
have every single plane is hundreds of people's lives, and if one person messes up, you could have a catastrophic event.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep.
But mainly, I think like the big part for people who can handle the stress of like, or just compartmentalize the idea that every single plane is people. You're sitting in a dark room all day staring at a screen, which
Yeah. Yeah.
is, it's strain on the eyes, it's strain on the brain, no stimulation of any kind.
Hmm.
It's like that's got to be miserable.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I can understand that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of like, have you ever had like a really long gaming session and when you're done, you're like,
I don't want to touch this thing ever again.
or you're like, I feel gross. I don't know. Like I used to feel that way.
If I didn't take a shower before I gamed, then yes.
Like when I used to game like a lot, I would play like all day, and then when I would go to get off my computer, I would just be like I feel like disgusted with myself.
Yeah.
So I would of course like try to go for a walk or something afterwards, but like that feeling, and like that's for a few hours one day. You're
Hmm.
talking, however long the shifts are. I think that was another thing was like they would do 10 or 12 hour shifts, but
Hmm.
they've since like shortened the shifts.
Hmm.
So you're talking, let's say 10 hours of sitting in a dark room, staring at a screen all day. Like that's got to do something to your mental off,
That,
in the
yeah,
screen.
that is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It kind of just was what it was, but like you can actually become an air traffic controller without going to school for it.
Yeah.
You could just buy the books and test. And if you pass the test, you're certified, but it caps how much you could make and it caps how often you have to get recertified.
Okay.
So at the time, they were saying like if you go to school for it, you get high markings, you get letters of recommendation, just like a normal university. That would get you into a better program or a better airport. And I believe the recertification at that time was once every 5 years. And then you can make, there's no cap on how much money you make. But if you don't go to school for it, you just buy the books, test out, pass. I believe it capped at the time at like 80 grand a year.
Hmm.
You were less likely to get picked up by a really good airport, and you had to recertify every, I believe, 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, if all else fails in this life, I know what I'm going to be doing: air traffic controlling.
Hey, man. Like some people end up at like a municipal airport somewhere, and they're like, "Hey, man, it's right by my house. We get 3 flights a day. I don't really have to do anything," and they're cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's some people who want to be at the big airports, or they want to be doing like international.
And I'm sure the ladder climbs with as far as like position wise, like you'll be a air traffic controller, and then you'll be a supervisor, and then yada yada yada, whatever goes up from there. So I'm
Yeah,
sure. I mean
maybe.
that would be how I'd look at it. Like if I'm gonna get into it, I want to go to the top. So like
Yeah, yeah, but some people don't want to.
and that's perfectly fine too.
I'm
Yeah.
like, hey man, if you're fine at the bottom or in the middle, like, that's always something to remember. Like when you're thinking about like yourself versus other people, it's like some people don't. Not everybody wants to get to the top. Not everyone has those aspirations, and even more so, like not everyone cares. Like some people, they're just like, hey man, this is a job. This is how I get my check. You know,
Hmm.
pays my bills. That's all I care about. Like that's something that I didn't understand when I was younger. And then I think like as I've gotten older and kind of began to educate myself, I'm like, man, a dream job. Why the fuck would I ever want to have a dream job? My dream isn't to work. My dream is to chill out, hike with my dog, and enjoy beauty. That's not a fucking job. Like,
Depending on how you market it, it could be.
see, but that's the thing is like that's the idea or that's the idea of like monetizing everything that you're doing, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
there are people that want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to like enjoy where I'm at. I don't want to record videos from out there and be like, "Hey guys, I'm wearing these shoes," and become like a
Yeah.
social media influencer. Fuck no, man.
Yeah.
And even this, like, if someone reached out to me tomorrow for like a sponsorship, sure. But like, I don't want to dedicate my life to appeasing sponsors that I don't care about to push things that I don't ever use just
Yeah.
for the sake of making money. Like,
Yeah.
fuck no, man.
That's how I figure with the podcast too, and streaming. Like if a sponsorship reaches out to me, like I'm going to do this the way I've been doing this. That's what got me here. So if you want me to
Mhm.
change something, no, thank you.
Yeah, but that's a big thing to remember is like a lot of people also don't have that same conviction. A lot of people are like, "Hey man, you want me to change my name, use an accent, dye my hair, cut it all off? Fuck it. I'll do whatever for the bag."
Get
But
bent.
I
Like
don't have that same conviction.
I don't. No.
I enjoy my life. Uh I I'm appreciative that I don't have to struggle the same ways that I did before.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't believe in like selling myself short or selling my soul for the idea of making money.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, what does that do for me? Because then I've lost who I am as a person, anyways.
Yeah.
So now I'm just a traded commodity.
Mm-hmm.
So, that puts me on par with fucking oranges and barrels of oil. The only
Yeah.
difference is like I can talk. Yeah. So, like, I like to be my own person. I was actually having a meeting yesterday with someone about some upcoming comedy shows, and they were like, "Well, what else do you do?" And I started talking about my food company, and they were like, "Oh, well, like what's your goal with this?" And it was like to be proud of what I'm doing and to give back to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, "Oh, but like, what if you got into Whole Foods? What if you got into here? What if you got into Walmart? What if you like partnered with some of the hotels and got your granola into every single room?" And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like the prospect of making that money, sure, that sounds nice, but Do I want to do that? No. Like I love making recipes by hand. Like I love looking over every single thing and like having the ability to control it and know like when a person tries this and they love it, they are trying something that I made with love for them.
Mhm.
And the idea of giving that up for more money in my pocket is not something I'm really interested in.
Mhm.
I would love to be able to hire employees, but that would be so that I could provide people with a livable wage
Mhm.
and not just be like, aha, I got people working under me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The people, yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So, like she's all excited and, she bought some stuff for me to support. I showed her some of the merch that I was working on and she was like, oh, I can't wait to buy some of this. So, I was again very appreciative and I'm always appreciative whenever people spread the word, whether that's stickers, word of mouth,
Mhm.
visiting the website, buying something, whatever. But like it's never my goal to like guilting people into buying stuff from me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or like
Yeah.
even this. Like when I talk to people about this, I'm like, man, this is more cathartic for me than anything. Like
Mhm.
I don't expect anyone to listen to this and be like, oh my God, I had a massive breakthrough in my life. So if you listen to it and there's something that comes out of it for you, then fantastic. Like
Yep.
I'm happy to hear that.
That's
But if
how
you
I
listen,
treat it.
yeah, but if you listen to it and you're kind of just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fantastic too.
Well, the reason why I started mine of James, well, any of the podcasts that came up was because like if one sentence got you to change how you thought a little different to help you out,
Mm,
then my job was done. You know what I mean? Like I check, we're good. So and it's kind of a therapy session for me because you and I have been on each other's podcasts and we've been like, damn, this was a good session.
mm-hmm.
You want some
Yeah.
money?
So, wait, did you have one before the Mind of James?
So when I lived in Denver, I started stoned out because I was
Okay.
just smoking weed all the time.
Okay.
And then when I got back home, it was called Moving Forward, but I wasn't in
Okay.
a good mindset to even be doing it because all I want to do was just bitch and cry about how everything sucked at the moment. But I was like, that's not helping me or anybody else. And
Mhm.
then when I moved into this apartment, I was like, I gotta do, I was laying on this couch and I saw a video, Kevin Hart saying like, you start something, you got to finish it.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. So I got my shit together and I was like, here we go. Let's just make another podcast. So birth of the mind of James. So, and maybe it might change again. I don't know. Stoned out might make a resurrection, you know,
Hey, that would be kinda cool.
the resurrection of stoned out. Like you see me here just like ripping bongs and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think about that and I realize I would get nothing done because I wouldn't talk. I would just giggle to myself the whole time.
I was so high, dude. It was like I was sitting here like it didn't look good at all. Plus, it was my first podcast, so I had no idea what I was doing
Mhm.
and no idea what I wanted to talk about. I was just sitting there getting high, talking, and you could barely hear it.
Just like recording with like a Motorola flip phone.
Well, no, I had this mic actually, and I was just trying to figure out like, and I had two different cameras, and both of them were horrible lighting. I had horrible lighting.
Mhm.
It was a good blueprint on for what not to do for a podcast. So, and now that like you build your skills, you start something, you don't know what you're doing
Mhm.
ever, and now it's turned into this. So I mean, like the next step will be let's make the quality a little because this camera on our episode
Yeah.
that we just
Yeah.
recorded, the camera quit. So
Yeah,
now it's
just
like
just shit the bed.
yeah, so now it's like, okay, we're going to have this problem again. We're going to need a better camera. And this mic, for whatever reason, or it could be the software, you'll hear it sounds like I'm talking like this sometimes, or it sounds
Okay.
like we're talking in a bowl sometimes, something.
Yeah.
So, upgrade the mic, upgrade the camera is the next step. Everything's a learning process when you start something.
Dude, I feel that. Like, that's something else I was talking about yesterday is like the learning process and the ability to allow yourself to fail in order to learn from it and to get better. You know what I mean?
Mm hmm. Mm hmm.
And like the importance of it and sometimes like how good for you it is. Because if you're scared to fail, you never push yourself. And if you push yourself, usually or if you don't push yourself, usually that could entail just settling.
Mm hmm.
And like if you're settling, is that really the life that you want to be living?
Mhm.
And that's something I apply to myself. For some people, that's a question that's never even crossed their mind. But for me, I'm like, dog, like I don't want to end up with a life that I feel is unfulfilled.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes, we're going to touch back on failure here for a sec, but like when it comes to failure, greatest teacher of anything of anything. I mean, streaming in this is the first year, and like I've learned so much.
Mm-hmm.
Tech issues could happen. One time I was streaming two mic sources, so you were hearing me twice.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, okay, your first and second year are your years to figure everything out. Like, I still cannot get it. It pisses me off. I still cannot get when I make a clip, I
Mm-hmm.
cannot get my camera quality to look as crystal clear as it does while streaming. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the saving process of it. I don't know if it's the clipping process of it. I don't know what it is. So, I mean, like, I'm going to have to go ask somebody because I don't know.
Yeah, it's frustrating, like those things where you kind of just like, this isn't what I want it to be. But again, it's kind of
It's
like what
good
you were
enough.
talking about. It's a blueprint of everything that I don't want it to be. So at
Yeah.
least I can compare the notes.
Yeah, because I'll look back if still streaming in 10 years, I'll look back at it and like, ooh, but then I can make a video saying, "Hey, here's what to do when this happens." So,
Mm-hmm.
I could at least teach somebody if they want to do it. Who knows? Maybe streaming will be fucking what's the thing? The holograms. Maybe I'll just
Mm.
be hologramming myself in 10 years. Who knows? But somebody will learn something along down the road that they learned off of me.
Hey man, I hope so. It's like it's pretty crazy because like I see how many people want to be streamers and like how many people like have podcasts and the amount of work that they put into it. And for some of them, I genuinely feel like really bad because some of them I reached out to and talked to, and they're like, I'm not getting the results that I want. Like I just want to quit. And I'm like, dog, you gotta give it time. You
Yeah.
keep it because consistency is always key.
It's the biggest part.
Hmm.
It's the
So it's like,
biggest.
yeah, just keep running with it, and eventually it's gonna get picked up. It's gonna start to get that traction. Like Theo, I had Theo on here in the beginning, and now, man, I feel like every time I open social media, he's doing something new. He's
Mhm,
doing street interviews. He's doing his solo stuff. He has another podcast that he's doing, and on top of that, he works like a full-time job. And I'm just like, dog, like watching you do all this stuff is deeply inspiring.
mhm,
And it's like, do I wish sometimes I had all the interactions that he does? Sure. But, like I do a bunch of different things. So this is kind of like at the bottom, towards the bottom of the totem pole as
mhm,
far as like things that I'm doing. And like I do this when I feel inspired and like when I feel as though I have something to talk about.
mhm,
And, not every episode has to be like some big aha moment where like it's like, oh my God, like I'm mind blown that I just came up with that. Sometimes it's just like, a casual conversation is something prolific may come from it. Or
mhm.
it just two friends talking and
Yeah,
we just get to, have some great idea between the two of us. Well,
yeah, we've had quite a few of those.
yeah. Dude, absolutely. I'd say it's shit. Like even, after you're done streaming or even when we're playing Warhammer 40K, it's like
We just bullshit.
sometimes
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes just bullshit and it's just like, wait,
they
that
were
made
zombies?
sense. Yeah, it's like, fuck, man, that made sense. That clicked in my head.
Yeah. I'll tell you, dude, video games have brought so many friends to me that will probably never not be friends for the rest of my life. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And podcasting too. Look at Scotty. Look at you. You know what I
hmm.
mean? Like, you're a good friend of mine. And we're over podcasting.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah, that's very true. And it's something that I'm deeply appreciative of because this is like if you took away the toxicity of game like online gaming chats, you would get this.
Yeah,
You know, like
100%. Yeah.
like
Mhm,
think of the cool people you met playing Call of Duty in the beginning. Or I think of the people that I became friends with from Halo 2 and 3.
mhm,
One of them, I realized we're still friends on Facebook, and I think we made our Facebook accounts in like maybe 2008, 2009. I didn't even realize we were still friends until like posted something that popped up, and I was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh my god." Like,
Y'all want to play some Halo again?
but I was just like almost 20 years. And like it popped into my mind like when I saw this dude, and then immediately like every conversation we'd ever had before, we eventually like drifted, our separate
Life went
directions.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. But you think about that, and there's times where like conversations I've had with people, I'm like, wow, that still sticks with me to this day.
Hmm.
And now talking about it, it makes me realize why, when I'm traveling, I should be more open to having those conversations with strangers in line or while I'm grabbing something to drink instead of just being like, oh, nah, because maybe they're stressed too getting on the plane, and their way of working through that stress is to talk.
Those fucking flight attendants, dude. Those damn onboarding messages they put up. Like, you both
Nah.
can have a common hatred of that. You know what I mean? And just make a good friend.
Yeah, most people's frustration is always aimed towards TSA, which I thoroughly agree with.
I do too. Dude, okay. When I flew, I was so nervous that they were going to take my nicotine vape and my nicotine pouches. So nervous because I haven't been in an airport in years. So I don't know what
Mm.
their rules are. And I'm like, they were just like, hey, as long as it's out of your pocket and we can see it, it's all that. And I was like, the hell else can I get through here? You know?
There was one
Yes.
time I was flying and TSA was like searching my bag, and I'm like, what do I possibly have in here? And I definitely had something in there that I shouldn't have. Uh, but I remember they like scanned my backpack like 5 separate times, and then I was like, "Hey, that's my backpack. Like, is there something wrong?" Like, "Yeah, there's something in there you need to take out." They found it.
What was it? What was it?
Uh, the thing, I think it was like weed or something that I was fine with, but it wasn't even that they stopped me for. Is because I had a Red Bull in my backpack.
You're not
So
allowed to bring Red Bulls in the airport?
no, well, you can't bring them through TSA because it's an outside drink. So
That's okay.
yeah, so they handed me back my backpack and it was like, "Take them out yourself." And I was like, "Okay." So as soon as I opened my backpack, strong smell of weed came rolling out, and the girl immediately just like looked at me, didn't change expressions, but like stared me dead in the eyes. And I pulled out the Red Bull, and she was like, "Yeah, you can either throw it away or drink it." And I was like, it was like one of the like fucking Super Duty cans.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I drink this, I'm gonna have a heart attack on the plane. And she was like, do whatever you want with it. I was like, do you want it? And she was like, no, I don't want your dumbass Red Bull. And I was like, okay, rude.
As
That was
she drives home buying one.
Yeah. I was like, that was kind of rude and hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. You didn't have to call it dumb. Like I
Yeah.
was just trying to be nice. So I ended up like took a couple sips, dumped the rest out, and as I was walking away, she was like, also, sir, like, don't bring that through the airport again. And I was like, the Red Bulls? And she was like, you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, thank you, bye-bye.
You want me to drink the Red Bull and you'll let me carry my weed on board. Like,
Yeah, she didn't seem to care about that at all. But I'm just like, I don't really get down with TSA like that. And then when I used to fly back and forth between Florida and Alaska, they would always check my backpack or check my check bag, because I would always find one of those slips in my backpack saying like, "Hey, your bag was randomly chosen."
yeah.
But it was because like I had pretty much like my life in my backpack at that time. So I had like a projector, my laptop, my shoes, clothes, all that
Hmm.
type of stuff. And without fail, a bottle of cologne and a jar of weed would always be missing from my TSA or from my check bags.
Somebody's gonna have a nice day getting high.
Yep, smelling good and being high. And I'm just like, motherfuckers. I would try to hide it every single time. I would tuck it in my shoes. I'd put it under my
You know those
laptop.
damn drug dogs are gonna find it.
Well, it's the check bag, not your carry-on. So it's on the conveyor belts, and then they randomly choose bags to take off and go through, and they put a little
Uh,
slip in there saying like your bag was checked by TSA. If you have any
bag that
complaints.
goes under the plane. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They'll
yeah.
put drug dogs on those. I'm sure they will.
I don't know. I don't care. But apparently they're not even looking for like weed and stuff anymore. They're looking for like hard drugs. Also, how you train a dog to smell meth or whatever or any other drugs?
Be a really excited dog.
Yeah, like man, I'm good. I'm good on that. But
Like, that's a really excited dog. Like, What are we doing today?
Yeah. The dog's just like twitching and shit.
You or me? You or me? Starts
Yeah.
talking like I didn't know you could talk.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, you'd be surprised what I can do, brother.
I don't
Yeah.
like I don't like your wife's pastrami.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like,
I just want to go home. Like
yeah, he starts
send me out like
wearing,
old Yeller with a big bag of meth.
starts wanting to wear like a tinfoil vest. Yeah, I don't that shit just, like, kinda weirds me out, man, but, yeah, I think, like, flying is cool. I honestly, like it's cool from the perspective, like, being in a plane and, like, looking down
Hmm.
and, like, seeing, like, how big the world is and just how minuscule we are, like, in the grand scheme of things, and I'm just like, "Fuck, man." Like, that is one part of flying that I think is always very important to be, like, the perspective aspect of it.
Hmm.
But just being in a cigar tube, going through the air, I'm just like,
Breathing, breathing recycled farts.
dude.
My favorite part of flying is getting sucked back into the chair when you take off.
Yeah, yeah, that's
That's my favorite part.
you're just like bouncing the whole time, like,
Like,
yeah.
damn, I feel skinnier.
But yeah, can y'all just keep this pressure on me?
Yeah.
Like, my favorite part are the free drinks and meals.
Yeah, that would be yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
like
$5 for a can of beer on board.
first class, like every time I fly, like I always try to find the cool flight attendants. Cause like granted, I don't really drink much, but like if I'm feeling particularly nervous, like I'll have a drink or two to relax.
Mhm,
And my first time flying, like, as an adult when I was moving across the country, I'd only slept, like, 45 minutes the night before. I was super nervous. I sit down on the plane. It's, like, 5:30 in the morning. Flight attendant's like, "Oh, can I grab you something to drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you have?" And she was like, "Everything." And the guy next to me is like, "Oh, I'll take a glass of champagne." And I was like,
I'll take one too.
"Yeah." I was like, "Can I get one of those? Also, do y'all have beer?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "What kind of beer do y'all have?" Before we got taxied out, I think I had like 4 Sam Adams, and I was like, "Hey, like, quick question between you and I." I was like, "Are you going to cut me off?" And she was like, "Sir, as long as you don't piss yourself, throw up on yourself, or try to fight anybody, I'll keep serving you." And I was like, "Fantastic, all I need to hear." And
Yeah.
yeah, I wanna say so I had 2 layovers. So it was Miami to Atlanta, Atlanta to Seattle, Seattle into Anchorage. I easily had, like, a suitcase worth of beer, and I would drink, fall asleep, wake up, eat, go back to sleep, wake up, drink, go back to sleep, and I just did that the whole way. But I remember my second flight, the chairs, reclined fully into beds.
Mhm.
Well, I'm still pretty tired, groggy. Get on the plane. We take off from Atlanta, and I order my breakfast. They confirm it with me. I drink a beer, and then I wake up over Colorado. And I remember the flight attendant was like, "Oh my god, oh my god." He's like, "Sir, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And he was like, "I came by to bring you your food, and you didn't respond." He was like, "I said your name multiple times. I shook you." He's like, "You didn't budge." He's like, "So I had to put my finger under your nose to make sure you were still breathing." And I was like, "Ah, yeah, sorry. I'm just really tired." He's like he's like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "I'm just glad you're alive." And I was like, "Hey, me too, right? Hey, like,
Yeah.
hey," he was like, "Cool. Do you want your food now?" And I was like, "Yes, please." I was like, "I am so hungry." So he brought me my food, and he also brought me like 2 beers. And then I remember he came back and he was like, "Actually, we have an extra meal. Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes, please." I ate both meals, drank both beers, and I went right back to sleep. And I woke up as we were descending into Seattle.
Nice.
And I was like, I could get behind this. But now,
Best way to travel.
hey man, won't get any complaints out of me. But now, as opposed to doing that, I download probably like 10 podcast episodes.
Dude, I get the plane Wi-Fi. I ain't dicking around.
See, I'll spend money on first class, but I will not spend money on in-flight Wi-Fi. It's silly, I know, but I'm like, no, this is where I draw the line. I'm not giving you an extra $15 after I just gave you $900. So I'm like, because like some of the flights, it's like the complimentary Wi-Fi, so it's limited, but they want you to pay for full access.
I
And I'm
pay it.
like, see, I'm like, I don't have anybody I need to text while I'm in the sky. I don't need to be on Instagram or Facebook. Like, no, I am going to listen to these podcast episodes and I'm gonna sleep. And then when I wake up, if they bring me my food, I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna go back to sleep, and then I'm gonna land, and then I'm gonna go. And that's it. That's also why I try my best to only do direct flights.
Yeah. Yeah. Direct flights are the best. But that in-flight Wi-Fi, I'll splurge. You want 10 bucks, you want 15 bucks out of me?
Mm.
You got it, because I am not sitting here for 3 hours doing one thing. I have too much ADD in my system or shooting out of my ears to just sit around and do nothing.
See, but in first class, we have like the TVs, and the TVs have movies, they have TV, or yeah, the screens have movies, they have TV, they have games, and then they have like the in flight tracker.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so you can look on the map of the world, like where you are, how fast you're going, elevation. It's like all that cool stuff.
okay.
So I'm like, hey, I like this. This is cool. So
Okay.
you kind of like a little kid, just like flipping through stuff to do. Play Bejeweled, get bored of that. Watch a TV show, you get bored of that. Watch a movie.
All right. Well, that makes more sense. Okay.
Get up, stretch your legs, walk around, take a nap. And, my Oh my god. From Miami to Alaska was 15 and a half hours with layovers. I'd be bored out of my mind, but most of my flights now are like 3 to 5 hours max, and
Yeah.
they're direct. So I'm like, I can handle that,
Yeah.
just chilling, podcast episode, close my eyes. Usually there's no one sitting next to me. I prefer it that way. So I
Hmm.
can just stretch out, cross my arms, use my shoulder as a pillow. I'm out like a light.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Speaking about like a light, I think it's a good spot to wrap up today's episode. Now,
Hell yeah.
I think, these were, again, very casual conversations, but amidst the casual conversations, we kind of touched on a little bit of deeper things
Hmm.
like perspective,
Hmm.
challenging ourselves, our view of the world and things around us. And I think it's really beautiful to find beauty in the mundane or in things that we normally don't consider to be beautiful.
Hmm.
I think it's a good reminder of sometimes the world is bigger than what we think, and there's so much more to be explored.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, and the importance of casual conversations with people, and how honestly, from the beginning of the episode to the end, has shifted my perspective on my attitude when walking through the airport or anything of the sort. Because what started off as you and I being strangers exchanging messages has turned into, I'd say a pretty cool friendship. We talk almost every day, play video games together, we stream together,
Hmm.
we do each other's podcasts. The idea of, deciding that my stress is much more important than a potential relationship, whether, brief or potentially lifelong in an airport, doesn't really matter where we meet or how we meet. It's what culminates from that interaction,
Hmm.
which could be nothing or it could be one of the most important conversations of my life.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I feel as though like I'm not only doing myself a disservice, but I'm doing a disservice to everyone around me by cutting off any potential of that ever happening because I feel as though I'm above it, which I am not. And that is something that, I have to realize moving forward in every formative facet of my life.
Hmm.
And, so to that, I say thank you, James, for, bringing that perspective to the conversation and kind of showing me like, even though I think I'm adjusted, that there are still things in my life that I need to face and deal with and, work through.
My pleasure, dude.
Hey,
That's what I'm
yeah,
here
man.
for.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap today's episode. I am on my way to go to a meeting, we'll call it. And,
One of
you
those
know,
fun times.
this one is more along the lines of expressing civil liberties.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I feel like I'm probably going to have some negative interactions with my coworkers. I'll deal with it on Monday or Tuesday. But in the meantime, there's three things to remember. Be good to yourself, be good to the world around you. Remember, above all, we love you, homie. We'll see you all next time.
See ya.